What's happening, everybody? Hope all is well. Hope you're having a blessed day or will have a blessed day. So today's subject, man. Well, first things first. Repping El Salvador, where my mama's from. All El Salvadorians, what's happening? But remember, I'm here to inspire positive change. I want you to know change is possible and you don't have to stay stuck in whatever situation you in. I'm going to use me as an example, but I do have other people who will come on here to show you change is possible. You ain't always got to be in the rut, or you ain't always got to have a negative mindset. So with me saying I want this to be iron sharpens iron. What's that mean in the Bible, man? Someone who's going to encourage you positively. Someone who's going to encourage you to do positive things. Not send you to prison, not send you to jail, not send you close to death, not someone who's going to send you away from the family, like the people who love you. People who actually want the best for you. Iron sharpens iron. I'm here for you. With me wearing this El Salvadoran shirt, just future story. It ain't for today, but we gonna talk about politics. West Coast prison versus East Coast prison. That's not today's story, but that's a crazy story. Not that I say everybody go do what I did, but no, it worked out for me. So I'm also gonna talk about positive and negative spiritual experiences. True life that I've experienced, that, if I'm going to give you true street cred, OG stat, not that matters, but to a lot of people it may and may not, but truth of the matter is I'm going to give you cases and blah, 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 and let you know, like, yo, if I'm telling you the truth about all these cases, I'm going to give you an example. I ain't in the mafia, but I sure did beat a lot of charges. How was that? Boom, that's who. But regardless, positive and negative spiritual experiences. So if I can give you street cred, what makes you think I'm lying about spiritual warfare and God being real and he can help with them prayers? Just saying. All right, man. Let's start off with a perspective. I had a buddy of mine who was in Colorado, and he was complaining about getting on a bus to go to work. And I said, all right, man, let's go over this situation. Since you're complaining about this, let's take a different perspective. I'm going to talk about that a lot. Perspective. So you mean to tell me you walked to the bus? Yeah. You had clothes on? Yeah. You had money to get on the bus? Yeah. Where was you going? I was going to work. So you mean to tell me you were able to see where you were going, you were able to walk to the bus, you were able to pay for the bus, and you're going to a job, and you got a problem with life right now? Complaining about the bus? And my boy was like, man, I ain't even seen it that way. But did you get what I'm saying, man? All those positives, yet people want to look at the negative. I was hoping that example would change the mindset of some people, because there's some people that went to sleep last night and wake up this morning. Some of their family members are just wishing for one more day. There's some people out there who want to walk, some people out there that want to see, some people that want to hear. There's some people that want that job. What's your perspective, man? Let me know. So I want to talk about overwhelming feeling. Oh, goosebumps. We get it, boy. We getting it. Okay. Overwhelming feeling. I recognize this. So I was revealed 1,000 stories with 1,000 explanations. I had already noticed this before even God revealed it, but it came to light now that I'm doing what I'm doing here today, being live and in person, telling you all these stories. So when I was in Colorado Prison, I got into a TC program when I was finally allowed to get in the program. I had to read an autobiography, and they said put effort into it, and I did, and they made me they literally said this was part of the program, so you gotta read your autobiography in front of all these inmates. And bro, it was like 100 people out. It was 100 inmates, at least. But during the process of me reading this autobiography, I turned red. I was sweating, almost fell out because I felt so uncomfortable speaking in front of people. And, you know, the counselors, inmates came to help me, and I was like, look, man, I'm good. But what I realized was I had this overwhelming feeling to get over public speaking. So what did I do? I've explained in some of my last videos adversity in prison because you want positive change. This is another example of adversity because people got their own. Someone's always going to judge what the heck you're doing, especially if it's something different against the norm. So this overwhelming feeling of getting over public speaking. So what can I do to get over public speaking while I'm in prison? Best way I thought was join the choir at every prison that I go to. Now mind it, inmates got some type of feeling about why you always in church, why you always this, why you always that. Like, man, I'm a solid dude straight up. I don't really care what you got to say. I'm trying to change. But this overwhelming feeling was just overwhelming. So I ended up, getting in front of the choir. I ended up in the church choir singing at every prison, like I was literally singing for God in front of all these inmates, which helped me overcome. What I noticed before is I ended up becoming, when I got out of prison, got out of that behavior modification program, I became a teacher. Speaking in front of like youngins. I was being graded by all these, they had all these initials, BACs, MACs, LAC, like they had all these initials. In other words, there were doctrines, masters, and I'm just straight up on parole when these people are grading me. And but I had to get over that public speaking in prison for me to become that teacher, to give the great stories that I have and to motivate change in these juveniles, because I went through the juvenile justice system. It wasn't pretty, and we're going to talk about that. But now on the broader scheme, here I am speaking. I'm speaking in front of everybody. I'm putting this out there. So when it was revealed, like, yo, this is what happened. Like, I already saw what you did in prison for me and overcoming the fear of becoming a teacher. Now, all those feelings came back when it was time for me to get on camera and say, yes, I believe in God. Yes, all these things have happened. And the reason why I brought this up, man, when I first started doing these, being videoed when I'm in the gym is different. Someone's doing it, but my mind is on getting it, and I'm going to get it. But when I was in Daytona a couple weeks ago, I had that same exact overwhelming feeling for me to start live and in person and talking about what God has put on my heart as a calling and as a purpose to help others. Same exact feeling. That day, nor that week or 2 weeks before, did I think I was going to get that first video when no shirt, tan on Daytona Beach. I never once thought that morning that I was going to do that video. But that overwhelming feeling came up. God literally said, today's the day. I didn't realize it, and I was like, well, what am I going to do? And he's like, the same place you was staring at when we drove this way. And I'm like, say what? He was like, yeah, the same place you said, damn, that'd be a cool hangout to be hanging out at. And I'm like, oh. So I went there, man. I went to that spot. It was on the intercoastal of Daytona. It was on the water. So I grounded myself, put my feet in the sand, in the water, and I prayed. And I had enough courage to go through with my first video, getting used to being on this camera. Because all the other times I was on camera was Crime Stoppers, the news. But you're going to hear about that later. But I'm just painting a story, but it's just crazy. So I get on and I'm able to express Like, you want me to say what? You want me to do what? But I had to be obedient, man. Have you ever had an overwhelming feeling to do something, but did you do it? Did you? I'm just saying, might be God trying to holler at you, trying to say, hey, this can improve your life. And, you know, when you go to church in prison, bro, somebody always got something to say. When I was in Colorado Prison, a lot of people knew. I was from Florida. I was extradited, and they knew my cases because they want to see your paperwork. Okay, paperwork's always there because I ain't got nothing to hide. People did whatever they did to research me and see I'm a solid dude. So there's, you know, I did it for me, man. Despite what other people was thinking, I didn't really care. God gave me enough strength. And I feel as if my prison time wasn't as harsh as others, man. Straight up, I even told my family, like, look, man, did I have problems in prison? You always gonna have problems in prison. Don't go to prison. Don't get locked up if you don't want them problems. But me, I was just built different, you know what I mean? I was locked up in the detention center, and I want to share this story, man. First time my mom came to visit me in the detention center, I was young. Her first visit, she starts crying, just straight crying. You know, it made me sad, but truth of the matter was, man, my lip was split all the way down here. I could still feel the scar that's on the inside. So with my mouth closed, you can see my teeth. You can see my teeth. Man, if you don't want your mom, your dad, or anybody, man, feeling that way, don't get locked up. Especially if you were younger, bro. I'm going to bring up what happens in the detention center. It took a long time for me to be embraced. And what I mean by that is because of my charges when I was young. It was a lot of gun charges, armed burglaries, which is first-degree felonies. I was put into a dorm, B2. In WTL, or it's a detention center, and that's one of the most violent dorms. And I was kicked out quite a number of times because there weren't many Chicos, there weren't many white people, and I used to get jumped, straight up get jumped. But I had been there for so many years and years and years, year after year, you know, working out, doing my thing. Every time I got out of detention center, you know, my friends were like, "Damn, bro, you getting big," and I was just young. But I remember being kicked out so many times, you know, having to fight, stay alive, you know what I mean? But I remember there was a time when I was 16, I had a Firebird with all Trans Am Park, but my vehicle was parked outside of this detention center. And, you know, we used to look outside the window and be like, yo, that's your ride? Like, yeah, that's my ride. I said, what do you call them people who watch you? Staff. Go look at my door. It says Sam I Am. A lot of y'all remember my Trans Am. Yes, sir. It was all hooked up and everything. 16. But there was a dude named Jimbo. He was a black dude. Took me on. From that point on, I ain't had no more problems, bro. Because I had been in there for year after year. They done see me so many times. Same people getting locked up. Same many people. But I remember the dude named Jimbo took me under his wing, man. We started working out. We started doing this. Because I had been kicked out of the pod. You know, how many other times in order to go. I had to go to B1. Despite my charges, but you know, that's another reason why I got sent to prison so early, man. I had quite a number of first-degree felonies. I'm just painting the picture, man. You don't want to go to jail. You don't want to get locked up, man. If I could tell you, bro, change, positive change, I'm here to inspire it. But after all that said and done, what do you do for your life today, man? What do you do? Hey, man, I'm gonna show y'all something. Look, man, I'm at the beach. Can y'all see that? I'm at the beach. I'm at the beach. Have you seen my beach ball? But, hey, man, what do you do for your cortisol levels? What do you do for your stress levels? This morning, I'm gonna tell you what I did. I went and got a massage. You're gonna see a lot of videos where I'm at the beach. I'm gonna ground myself. I'm gonna meditate and make sure this mind is right. Foremost, I do have God. Yes, thank you, Lord. You know what I mean? I also got to remember what my demons are. So I feed my positive spiritual because I also know them demons are hungry too. I am here to encourage change. I want to be iron sharpens iron. I want a more loving tomorrow. I want to be that light. Change is possible. Don't think it ain't. You ain't got to stay stuck. Have a blessed day, my peeps.